That's what I love. That's what we're here for, baby. That's what this is. Chaos, name of the game here in the LPL. When I take a look at the drafts, though, I feel like AL have better go buttons. Steal of the Wolves. Tarzan smites away the big one, which is, of course, the most important, but denies some XP. As now On is walking straight into the Tribush, just gonna phase check it and die. First blood to anyone's legend. On's brain seemingly off for that one, and now Shun in some danger as well. Kyle running in to make sure that Shun is not able to contest this blue buff, and AL get a kill for free.
Objectively not correct. Okay, cool. Well, that kind of stifles the play for BLG, but they make a counter on mid.
Be in trouble as well. Yeah, that's an easy kill. As he heads down on there, should be able to take this one rather uncontested. We actually see Shun go back to base right as the grubs spawn. Feels like with FloNDRA pushing this wave in right now, they don't feel comfortable enough to go for it immediately, and that means that BLG are going to be behind on the neutral objective front to start this game off.
For a collapse. Tarzan is still finishing this blue buff, though, before deciding whether he's going to impact the lane or go for the grubs, or honestly, neither by the looks of it.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, Tarzan, a player that always is able to make his presence known on the rip.
Or wombo combo damage to blow them up, and then reset, play another slow engage, and look for another play, as he is diving first play.
Wow, right on to Bin. Underneath the tier 1 turret, FloNDRA does land the knock-up, but it is followed by the public execution of Bin. Void Rush comes through. Bin not going to flash away for the damage, but does make sure FloNDRA goes down to the final turret shot. It's a confirmed 1-for-1 as Tarzan does kill him with the Comet Spear.
A bot laner to first have a full item, this Essence Reaver, is basically saying, I get to infinite wave clear now, and you cannot do anything about it. So, we do hold on, shouldn't be going for the best.
Going in, FloNDRA forced to flash away. Bin with that Q3, able to finish off the kill. But Tarzan is here, and he has a decent chunk of damage in his own right. But Bin follows up with the public execution. That eclipse with a lot of survivability. And in goes Shun with the flash of the wind becomes lightning. 3 talent strike, and the kill. That's 2-0 in favor of BLG. Have the bottom side really be dominated by AL, top side dominated by BLG. That's where the gold is allocated, and that is where these players will be spending a lot of their time. A 2-0 Dragon lead for AL certainly will be helpful in terms of scaling.
And we'll be able to TP back up top, has the Unleashed TP at this point, is going to be safe up there. Tarzan pressuring bot lane, but Knight's quite tanky.
Look at the damage Knight's able to provide underneath the turret. Kyle with the Pop Blossom. This Knight flashes away from it to make sure he does not get stunned up, but Bin comes in with the TP of his own, has the public execution, and will use it onto Shanks. Gets hit by the Rune Prison, but the Petrifying Gaze in response is going to be enough for the Ambessa to drop. So it's a 1-for-1 in this fighter on the bottom side, and Hope hasn't even arrived yet. Chain of Corruption goes wide, but now Bin looking and hunting for potential stun. Not going to find it, as it will just be BLG backing away with that 1-for-1, but the first tower also going in favor of FloNDRA.
Having to burn ultimate just to evac your support out of the play.
Now Shanks, without any flash or ultimate, is going to be in trouble once again, as Shun has arrived to the bottom lane to take him down. That is Shanks' third death of the game. He has been targeted heavily. Try to cut Viper off if he goes a greedy route. Gonna get spotted out by that Scrying Orb, but it might not even matter as he is forced to cleanse. Does use the Hail of Arrows to try and slow Tarzan down. And now the Chain of Corruption has come in. Bin has come back from base, and BLG are looking to party once again, and AL are not in the right position. Viper gets payback onto Tarzan, and they'll lose yet another man.
Long-time former teammates, Viper comes out on top in that one. Just barely playing on the edge. Does have to burn his summoners though, makes this Varus a target in future fights. But we need to see AL force something. They may have the Dragon lead, really, with how essential Dragons are going to be to a win for both teams.
Kyle using the clone to face check that brush where a lot of BLG members were in, and Tarzan opting to go forward is going to just get met here by Shun, who now has a wild growth on top of him. Only one gets stunned up by the Petrifying Gaze, but Shun is taken, and the Comet Spear from Tarzan will take him down. That's no jungler available here for BLG, and that is the signal for anyone's legend to go forward. Teleport comes in from Tarzan. They're going to go forward onto Viper. The Aegis keeping him alive for so long, nearly able to take the Varus down, but he will live by the slimmest of margins, and Bin has come in to clean up the rest of the fight. FloNDRA tap flashes in, is able to get one back on tonight, but the Ambessa is just massive at this point in the game. Bin 1,500 gold up 4-2-1. Looking to tear apart this Rek'Sai, and Shanks is in some danger as well. There's no ultimate available here for Bin, so he will have to back away, but BLG all in all come out on top in the fight.
Stifles that engage, and Shun with a really nice sidestep to not get stunned up. Tarzan collects him on the end, but
the fact that Knight able to clear out any wave that he chooses right now that is around the top side. And now Relmorph is coming in underneath the tier 1 turret. Could be in danger, are anyone's legend. Kyle does not hit anybody with that Pop Blossom, and he's already down. And so is Flandra, with Bin landing a beautiful public execution. So it's the tower plus 2 more in favor of Bilibili Gaming.
He's ahead of you now. You can't do anything here, Ale. You can't play for this.
The 5v3 Hope does not have the Infinity Edge yet. That is a major power spike that has not been unlocked. Bin just trying to soak up as much pressure as he can to allow his team to wear purple for the next 3. Comparison to the rest of the map. 3 full items on this champion, nearing level 16, and AL already off to a good start as they pick off Knight and force him to use the Realm Warp defensively. That is a tool that they will no longer have at their disposal, but Shun still looking to go in. Lands that audacious charge on the Kyle, lands a knockup as well, and there's a Lulu on top of him to shut the Nico down. He dashes away from the petrifying gaze. Shun is popping off. He's got a triple kill here in this one. And now Flandra has teleported in, but is immediately forced to use that tunnel to escape.
Pulling off their attempt at a play. It was exactly what we wanted them to do 20 minutes ago. And not able to walk away with anything, it will be BLG securing an even larger gold lead. They won't be cracking the base off of this Baron, but I think keeping themselves in the game. Find Tarzan,
yeah,
they can take Baron for free.
You're playing Smash and you got an extra stock. You get to play a little bit more aggressive, make sure you're able to play it with your life a little bit more, and that's what Tarzan is going to force Shun to do. He has the Wild Growth on top of him now, but still in a pretty good position. Pop Blossom only finds on, and the fight now beginning in earnest with mid laners fighting around the top side of the map. Flandra on a teleport is going to find on a flank, but Tarzan is in a bad position himself, and he'll get taken down at the first casualty, and Flandra goes into the middle of a 1v5, and he's not going to like those odds one bit. He flashes on out. And now it is AL on a complete retreat underneath their own tier 2. But the Realm Warp is going to stop any sort of sense of that. Shanks goes golden, but it will deny the inevitable, as now Hope is the only one left standing around the fight.
Looking to knock down this top lane tower as well with the dragon spawning. I mean, there's the potential for AL to go for some kind of counterattack. You have Pantheon up with ult in 12 seconds. But where can you even find anything? It looks like it's just going to be forfeiting across the board.
Say at this point, BLG pick up their 3rd Chemtech Dragon, and they are looking good. But they could have maybe picked off on as Tarzan went in with an empowered Blast Cone, but it'll immediately be stymied. And Shun still going to be invulnerable at this point. The Guardian Angel has been popped. Kyle looking for another engage and does find a 2-man stun, but it will only be the Guardian Angel being popped off of Shun, and now Bin is straight into the backline, publicly executing anyone's legends right next to their own base. That is going to be another ace picked up as BLG will march into the mid lane as 5 strong to take game 1 of this series.
What decisive fashion to kick off the series. BLG fighting to call themselves top 1 in the league. No talk about this top 2 stuff, as they will walk it down, get their first game in the series. But remember, they still need to close it out if they want to be going into that first spot heading into playoffs.
It was close until it wasn't. AL with a much more solid and complete identity.
Yes, this one, last time you had the Cassiopeia running along with a Sivir, it's like those two kind of want to do different things.
Yeah. Very, very terrible. Obviously, there's enough pieces on AL's side in terms of DPS to make that not as much of an issue, but you still want to have a little bit of threat here. As speaking of threat, Kyle gonna actually flash to land a good headbutt into Knight and pull off an Uno reverse card. Tarzan goes in with a Cyclone, and that's first blood for anyone's legend. Thought that it was a good play for BLG, but AL do a great job turning it around on its head. Knight are able to make their way towards the Grubs and pick up a very solid neutral objective.
I think we gotta be very happy about this, particularly when it comes to side laning. Anytime Shanks can get those minions under the tower, it's going to be even more impactful for trying to get the 1-3-1 online for AL.
Knight able to get out of that one unscathed. And now Shun and Tarzan will once again be contesting here around this topside Scuttles. Tarzan does have the ultimate available once again, and so does Shun as he pops the World Ender. In he goes, not going to land that Q2, and now going to be forced to back away. Tarzan with the first proc of the Cyclone does a lot of damage. Shank dashes back over the wall, and Knight still awaiting to use the Emperor's Divide, finds it at a perfect moment to take Tarzan down, and that evens the kill score up for BLG.
Weird standoff where both mid supports will kind of look at each other, and Knight was the first one to blink.
And now, without having to use that bait seal, Shanks can go in and pick up a solo kill on tonight. Just doing a little bit of peppering onto their oppositions. The Rift Herald still has not been taken, but the Dragon will eventually fall. Shanks ends up last hitting it, evens up that count at 1. Could come at the cost of this tier 1 turret, but I think overall anyone's Legend generally in a good spot, as Bin is able to clear this wave out and allow for Shun to make his way towards this Herald on the top side.
I don't know if Shanks is tracking where Bin is, but can potentially cancel a TP should he go for it. Ooh, does find the recall and stop it, but it doesn't matter. Will there be a force fight here? Kyle is in a great flank.
Kyle, he has a great position for a flank, and Tarzan knows it in with the Cyclone, and it's immediately followed up by Hope. A 2-for-0, as it's a double kill for the Kaisa, and Flandre flashes right over the Sand Soldiers and says, not today. It's a 3-for-0 in favor of AL.
On the BLG, able to secure some plates on either side of the map as reward. Probably going to be more gold than BLG will get by throwing down that Herald, as now we get to see how it started off. Situation where both teams have 1 dragon apiece. The next one spawning is in 3 minutes. Mid lane tier 1s are alive, as AL is forcing something onto Bin.
Landing that Q3, Bin in a precarious situation, but he throws out the all-out, going to try to turn this 1v2. But Shanks, the Soul Unbound, has suddenly become very powerful, and he's able to take down Bin.
Could fight both of the enemy solo lane as well. With the Blade the Ruin King, yeah, Shanks card tears through that Cassandre, as now BLG try to do the same to mid lane tab, but TP coming in.
Teleport coming in. It's going to be from both solo laners, and Hope going to try to slow down the bottom lane's retreat on already being taken out. And Shun is going to have to try to hop into this Rift Herald to go on a grand escape, but they break the car open before his very feet. And Tarzan will make it 8-1 in favor of AL. It's 9-1 now in favor of the Pandas. And they're going to take down this mid-tier 1 and maybe even look for the Nash. They're feeling confident enough. That just shows you AL firing on all cylinders once again. And Shanks is at the heart of that, navigating his way against Knight. And in goes Tarzan again, landing another 2-man Cyclone onto Shun and on. They're surviving for a long time, but they have not had Hope arrive yet. They go with the Killer Instinct, but Viper's able to shut him down. And they get a second one on a Tarzan. Here comes BLG, and they're here with a vengeance. 4 kills down, and it's Shanks now trying to fight the rest of the team. But it will not matter. It is BLG with a huge punish, and they're going to get the Baron at the 22-minute mark.
Everything looked so good for AL, and then on a moment it turns. The reinforcements arrive, and AL just weren't able to get enough done in time going on him. And then it's just you're outnumbered. Shanks got pinged back over the wall. He was nowhere near to help the DPS.
And look at Shun soaking up all of that damage. You see the power of that Sundered Sky, the healing doing wonders. We're able to previously.
It's a proper
Speaking
install.
of ascending, Knight might ascend up to another world, as he is going to be in a whole lot of trouble. That interaction works well when you're in a 1v1, but maybe not in a 1v4, as the Killer Instinct from Hope sends him straight into a big payout of 300 gold.
And that's what we need to see if AL want to get this to a game 3, want to make this last match and seize it to make the game even. One more play goes wrong, and suddenly it's back into a winning spot.
Again. Nice, just the Emperor's Divide there by Knight this time, and Hope just gets assassinated straight into 4 members of BLG, and that Killer Instinct ended up killing him instead. Shanks now has to flash over the red buff wall, but he's going the wrong direction as BLG find another opening to get themselves back into this game.
3 people chasing down Shanks. He doesn't have the Baron recall. He has to fight his way if he wants any chance of survival, but it is only a matter of time until Viper finally having a Viper-like game.
When you have a Renata ulti, a Nazir shuffle, even a knockup from Cassante or Aatrox, as soon as you press your instant all-in and that's your last dash, it becomes very difficult to play the rest of the game. And we're going to see that right here. Hope getting zoned out by Knight, but anyone's Legend still trying to force this fight. The headbutt in from Kyle is big, and they should be able to take this Azir down. He lives for a little bit longer, but eventually will be Hope to issue the killing blow. Bin running out of time on his all-out, will be forced to flash away, and that is all going to be BLG retreating after losing their mid laner.
The attempted contest by BLG for this dragon. That's going to be soul point for AL.
This is the back and forth game that we were hoping to see between these two teams. A battle for the first seed in Group Ascend is delivering here in this second matchup. AL gonna pick up this third dragon of the game. He has the Guardian Angel, but is afraid to go over the wall just yet. A teleport comes in with the spellbook from Kyle. They've kept the Baron at 5,000, waiting for anyone's Legends to go in. Shanks goes with the Soul Unbound, but is now forced to tether back, as Flandre has now overheated. In goes Knight. He goes for the shuffle, but everybody flashes away. And that is a big tool that is no longer at the BLG mid laner's disposal. He's burning down, and in goes Hope, but he goes golden at just the right time. And Viper is gone. On will fall. It's a double kill already for the Kaisa, and Hope has found his moment. It's a triple kill for the AL bot laner, and that will be the full ace for AL.
Absolutely fantastic from AL. They let BLG draw themselves to the end of the Baron and then say, no, this is our fight. Kyle had a perfect TP flank to go around the side and completely shut out any escape from BLG. Once they had walked too far, once they had stepped into AL's trap, it was all over from there. As we get the full 3 games. Hell yeah!
BLG looked like with the Baron they could shut things out, but AL had a glimmer of hope. We're going to a decider in our final series of the regular season.
The screen froze
You
just
got
as
your
they...
wish.
Hooray! I was just thinking it's a good Sejuani angle, and I was, you know, I wasn't going to be disappointed with Tarzan on Lee Sin, but if AL really wants to treat me nice, I suppose they can. Items, so gotta stay on the board to keep up with him.
Yeah, we'll see if that build that you mentioned comes in. And one of the biggest synergies that Sejuani has in this game is with Flandre on the Renekton. They already forced a couple of flashes, and they're going to get a stun out of him as well. Bin in severe danger, and danger turns to death. It's first blood for AL on the top side. Around the mid lane, all but show at this point. Not a lot of full sends in this certain exchange. We've just crossed the 5-minute mark. Shun really wanting this camp, able to secure it. Hero's entrance does come out, and Kyle and Tarzan are both knocked up, and both ticking dangerously low. Shun picks up that first kill, and BLG have equalized the kill count at 1. Styled all over him on this pick. And since then, it seems like Knight's learned. He's had a pretty good time on this one. We're going to see him have it again as he lands a stun onto Shanks, takes him down, and gives Shun his second kill of the game on the Kindred. So BLG getting this jungle snowball rolling, and it's coming off of the back of their star mid laner, playing on more the defensive side.
The immobile mage. This is the thing about locking in an immobile mage early into a draft, especially where it's that early on. Dying?
We're just praising him. That's a caster curse right there, Melvin, as Hope ends up getting a kill in the bottom lane in his...
We'll be able to just continue to eat up these kindred marks. Currently at 1 for sure. We've got to look at the 4 is the big marker. Once he gets that, it'll be an extra 75 attack range on the kindred, and then further 25 range for each 3 marks beyond that. Anshin isn't going to cancel recall. That is going to be running off a base with the Kraken Slayer in pocket. I don't think there'll be anything to do over here on this side of the map, but that is a very, very scary kindred at this point into the game. You need to be super careful if you get into a fight, particularly with that dragon spawning in 3 minutes.
Yeah, the silver lining, only 1 mark for Shun so far. You want to just make sure no more blood is shed in the top lane.
And they do secure that mark for Shun on the Kindred, which is also important. As hold on there, as he overstepped potentially.
For more too, and he dies away from the dredge line of Kyle. Protoplasm Harness has been procced, and there's a lot of stuns issued onto Shun. Can they burst him down before the ulti? No! The Lamb's Respite does come out, but it's a big numbers advantage right now in favor of anyone's Legend as they are punishing this invade by BLG. True Shot Barrage going to come out. It takes down a member as the Renekton does fall, and Knight and Bin suddenly are able to make things work in the 2v3 situation. Knight down at 300 HP. Shanks issues the gravity well, but is unable to do a lot more damage onto the Galio, and both sides will retreat.
And now we get a skirmish over Dragon. Both junglers are here.
Tempered Fate does delay On's death for a little bit, but it still should happen. And there's the snipe from downtown, sticking Shun into a glacial prison. A beautiful play from Tarzan Sejuani, as it's a 2-for-0 plus the Drake for the Pandas. It would certainly be the topic of conversation, as both junglers will interact there on the top side of the map.
You get very heavy trading into the mid lane. Bot ultimate down.
Speaking of Tempered Fate, it's actually going to land on the Hope, who now is exhausted and taking a lot of damage from the Mystic Shots of Viper. He dashes in and picks up the shutdown onto Hope. And now BLG have a 4v3 in their favor and will take Kyle down. So, with that kill, with that pick, AL now find themselves down to 2 men, and BLG have evened up that kill score once again.
I don't understand what we're doing here. Like, that's just incredibly greedy from the bot lane of AL, as we do get a collapse now, looking to try and at least get on.
Yeah, the teleport from Flandre is going to be first. He pops a Dominus on, going to be in some trouble as Tarzan is just fully targeting him in his own right in a 1v1. Knight going to land the Justice Punch on the Flandre, try to peel him out. The hero's entrance going to at least negate a little bit of extra damage. Flandre going to get stunned up by On, who is somehow still alive at the end of the fight. It's going to be the Herald secured by Tarzan, but nobody will be able to claim the eye, as it will be BLG 5 strong trying to take the Sejuani down. True Shot Barrage barely unable to land.
He snuck it! Kyle
who sneaks in there and pulls off a grand escape with the Herald in tow.
What a crazy heist to turn up the end of that play. Thrown away the lead by the AL bot lane, and then is going to be able to finish off the play, claiming the mid lane tier 1. Okay.
Tier 1 to try to fill Bin's pockets a little bit.
Very respectful and definitely correct from Flandre to not stand there under that tower. Normally a Renekton would be pretty durable, but when you're against Kindred ult plus Bard ult, that is not a support TP.
The Baron, I should say. Speaking of, are on the top side of the map. It has been and Shanks engaged in a 1v1, and a teleport came in from Knight to try to cut off the rest of anyone's Legends. Flandre now answered the TP of his own, popped to Dominus, and will look to try to engage on to BLG. Tempered Fate going to slow up 3. There goes the Glacial Prison onto Shun, forces him back, and the first kill is on to the Victor, but now it's immediately traded back in a 1-for-1. Tarzan going to get singled out and taken down by 3 members of BLG, and Viper is 1v1ing Hope underneath his own area of the map. True Shot Barrage not going to connect with the weirding. Well, Bin finds the kill, and Bilibili Gaming get 4 for 1, and will head over to the big purple worm.
And it was Shanks trying to burn cooldowns to force Bin away, but the collapse from both teams it ended up being that Shanks died first, and as soon as that damage threat is down, AL are a bunch of beefy guys and a Sejuani and a Corki hitting you. It's not going to do much. So quite soon, if BLG just play a slow dragon start, there's the potential to just take Shanks off the table before he even has a chance to play the game.
As the Baron power play continues for another 75 seconds, it'll allow for BLG to march to the bottom lane, take down this tier 2 turret, add a little bit more gold into their inventories before this next dragon spawns. They want to make sure that AL do not have an opportunity to get to Ocean's Soul Point at this point in the game.
It looks like they're not even going to try and contest. Shanks on the top side without TP.
AL threw out a lot of tools, but weren't able to find anything, as BLG will make their way back towards the Drake.
I mean, Kyle's defensive Nautilus hooks have been great, but that's not what you're picking Nautilus for at the end of the day. You want to be going forwards. You need to be going forwards, as now
any of those denial abilities from BLG are unable to be chained together, and just keep looking for fights like they're going to do so here. They land a stun onto On, and Hope's able to back forward and one-shot the Bard before the Tempered Fate does land back down. Looking like it is a possibility, at least to open up the season with a season sweep in Split 1. But there's still work to be done. Flandre has popped the Dominance. He's looking to get a kill onto Bin, and he uses the ultimate straight into the arms of Tarzan. It's going to be another big pick onto the BLG top laner as he gets shut down by the Sejuani with Baron up in 35. Soul Point.
That is crazy to not even start with any kind of contest, but that's just the power of what On and BLG have been doing with Vision. They go in, control the area, and don't give AL a safe approach. A lot of attention being played over to Hope.
Flandre TP's in, On looking for a flash engage. That was not the play, as he will get taken down by Hope. The Tempered Fate does land onto 2 to try to slow things down in this current engage, but AL find another massive pick, and this time On is dead as the Baron is up. He doesn't know. Flandre is waiting for him. He's going to finally get caught out, but he shifts right into the Renekton's arms. On the other side of things, it is Knight already going golden with the Arcane Storm raining down on the back line of Bilibili. Here comes the hero, and his name is Knight, and takes Flandre down. And on the other side of things, the 4v2 already has the Land's Respite down. Shouldn't try to buy some time, but it's 2 more kills picked up here for AL. Knight and Viper, the 2 carries, the 2 superstars, trying to save the game for BLG, but it won't happen. A shutdown for the Shanks' Victor, and now it is Knight on the run. Tarzan trying to chase him down. On his back up, but he will not be able to save his carry. It is Hope getting another, and it's AL winning the fight.
Baron is available. Tempered Fate is on the table. Will On have a spellbook change over to Smite potential? As we get a God, it's going to be so difficult to end, though, with the extra tower playing as Bin. He's
Taki.
looking for an aggressive TP.
Oh, they all know this. In goes Hope. He assassinates Viper on the Ezreal. Knight comes in, but it is far too late as a double kill has already opened up for the Corki. He'll eventually get dropped as Bin picks up a big shutdown, but On's already down, and it's only Knight and Bin against 4 members of AL. The Red Panda still have Baron. They are going to push down mid, and they're going to try to claim the #1 seed.
They're walking it down. They have numbers. It is just the solo laners of BLG, the ones that have made the difference every time in this matchup. Can they hold?
Neither have ultimate, neither have a ton of DPS, neither have a lot of wave clear. The Nexus tower is going to start to melt like paper against the might of BLG. Anyone's Legends kept the same roster, and in the new year are going to continue their dominance over BLG. They get the win, and they will claim first place in the LPL entering the postseason.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.